get ready, baby, for round 2 of the ultimate cinematic showdown, the Director's Cup. We've taken 8 of the world's most celebrated filmmakers, enter them into the arena, each armed with a filmography of masterpieces. This is a tournament, a single elimination battle royale, where only the best films survive. In each round, we'll pit 2 directors against each other, selecting one of their iconic movies for a head-to-head matchup. Through lively debate and careful analysis, we'll determine which film reigns supreme, sending the victorious director to the next round. But choose wisely, because you can only use one movie one time. With each director's filmography as their arsenal, strategy is key. Do you play your blockbuster hit early, or save your critically acclaimed masterpiece for the final showdown? The Director's Cup is a tournament where cinematic legacies are forged, and only the one director will emerge with the coveted cup. Enjoy. Welcome, movie fans, to a clash of sci-fi titans. In one corner, we have Steven Spielberg's classic Jurassic Park, the groundbreaking dinosaur adventure that roared onto screens and into our hearts. And in the other corner, we have J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek, the thrilling reboot that boldly took a beloved franchise where it had never gone before. Tonight, we embark on a cinematic voyage exploring the depths of those 2 iconic films across 4 exciting rounds. Round 1, personal opinion and nostalgia. We'll delve into the subject experiences and nostalgic connections each film evokes, uncovering the personal reasons why these movies hold a special place in our hearts. Round 2, awards and critical acclaim. We'll examine the critical reception and accolades bestowed upon each film, weighing the opinions of experts and industry recognition. Round 3, the wildcard round. Prepare for a warp speed journey through fascinating trivia and behind-the-scenes revelations, uncovering hidden gems and unexpected insights into the making of these sci-fi masterpieces, as well as a recasting by me and Bern Gives. Round 4, the final frontier. We'll boldly ask our esteemed judge Gemini to weigh the evidence and declare a victor in this epic battle of cinematic worlds. Get ready for a thrilling, insightful showdown as we determine once and for all which film reigns supreme, Jurassic Park or Star Trek. Enjoy the show. Daddy! Bern nuts on the chin of that intro. As always, got a big matchup for round 2 of the Director's Cup here. Are you ready? Are you going?
I can't wait, man. I'm super excited. 2 great ones today, but I'm representing one of my favorite films of all time, and I am stoked to the moon.
So just to recap, Bern will be he'll be representing Steven Spielberg in Jurassic Park. I'll be representing J.J. Abrams in Star Trek. To recap, round 1, we pitted James Cameron versus Ridley Scott. We did Titanic versus Gladiator. And of course, your boy, Ridley Scott, came out on top. So let's get ready for round 2. But before we do, Bern, I think there's one thing we have to do.
The tale of the tape.
Damn right. It's now time for the tale of the tape. All right, let's get these 2 sci-fi behemoths in the ring for a head-to-head comparison. Here's the tale of the tape for Jurassic Park and Star Trek. Here we go. The release date, Jurassic Park's release date, June 11th, 1993. Star Trek's release date, May 8th, 2009. Runtime, Jurassic Park's runtime, 2 hours and 7 minutes. Star Trek's runtime, 2 hours and 6 minutes. Yeah. Film budget, Jurassic Park, 63 million in their film budget. Star Trek's film budget, 150 million. Just goes to show you inflation over 16 years. Opening weekend box office for Jurassic Park, we had 47 million, which in 1993 is colossal. 47 million opening night. Bern, do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Summer blockbuster. They roll that bad boy out like the day after we got out of school.
Yep.
The weekend after we got out, and recoup 2/3 of their money right off the bat. So this is when the summer blockbuster was really starting to be like, oh, this is a strategy here.
Yeah, big time. And I think Star Trek kind of followed suit. They were just before the summer, May 8th, but their opening weekend box office 75.2 million. Really cleaned up, really did well. Worldwide box office gross. Star Trek's worldwide box office gross, Bird. 385.7 million. Huge numbers, right? I
Big
think they're
number.
number 3 right now on the list. Titanic being 1, Gladiator being 2, and I guess we'll put Star Trek at 3. And then Jurassic Park, worldwide box office gross, 1.046 billion with a B. Billion. Yeah, massive Star Trek. And dude, that's in 1993. Wild. Just wild. That's Jurassic Park's worldwide box office gross. And then estimated DVD VHS sales. So 400 million plus DVD VHS sales for Jurassic Park, and then 85 million plus for DVD and Blu-ray for Star Trek. But to be fair, DVD and Blu-ray, that was kind of like, that was kind of going out at that time in 2009, right?
Yeah, probably massive sales for Jurassic Park. But by 2009, we were switching over to a lot more digital stuff. So yeah, I would imagine that's right around the time when you're going to see those numbers dip for any movie that comes out
Big
around
time.
that.
Yeah, because that was when they would have you could stream on HBO and stuff like that. So and then the studio, Jurassic Park studio was Universal Pictures, Star Trek was Paramount. So not bad. Not bad. Okay. So that was the tail of the tape burn. So let's keep it moving to round one. Round one. Fight. All right, this is round one. In round one, we'll be doing nostalgia and personal opinion. Bern and I will each have 3 minutes to go over our favorite parts of the movie, what we think is the best scene, what we think is the best line, and we talk about the score. So, Bern, you'll be going first. Are you ready?
I am ready to rock, baby.
All right,
Let's
ready,
do this thing.
set, go.
First things first, let's be clear about one thing. Okay, Jurassic Park was not just a movie, it was a game changer, it was an experience, it was a cultural dynamo. Watching those dinosaurs come to life on the big screen was awe-inspiring, it was terrifying, and created a sense of wonder that I can't really compare to anything else. It sparked a lifelong fascination with dinosaurs and paleontology. It single-handedly revived the idea of kids wanting to go out there and study dinosaurs and dig up bones. I saw Jurassic Park in the movie theaters when I was 11 years old. My dad took me to see it. And let me tell you, it might seem a little weird now, but I was legit scared. That T-Rex scared the hell out of me. A couple things we got to get to here in the categories. We got to talk about the music. John Williams score. All right. Everyone knows the
Iconic.
Jurassic Park score. It's absolutely iconic.
Yeah.
When it comes to the best scene in the film, I was obviously stuck between Raptors in the Kitchen or T-Rex in the Rain.
Oh,
I got to tell you, I went T-Rex in the Rain.
yeah.
That
It's the water,
it's
right?
the water. It's the pupil dilating in the window.
Yeah.
It's the T-Rex stomping on the overturned Jeep. It's Goldblum running around with a flare in his hand. And it's also that the bank stooge lawyer gets eaten on the can. So it has a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Right? It's terrifying. It's funny. It's full of action. The suspense of the raptor in the kitchen scene is iconic, but I had to go with T-Rex in the Rain. And finally, the best line from the film. I know the best line in the film, that's what's intended to be the best line in the film is when Goldblum's character, Dr. Ian Malcolm, says, life finds a way. That's the whole theme of the movie. You can try to mess with nature. You can try to create new animals. You can try to make them all female, but invariably, life is going to bust through and do what it wants to do. That's probably the best line in the movie as far as an encompassing line for the movie, but there are two other lines in that movie that I say probably monthly to this day and have my whole life. The first is clever girl, clever girl. When the hunter's out there and realizes he's been outflanked by the raptor and has no choice but to just acquiesce to his death and be like, they are smarter than me. And my personal favorite line from the movie, delivered by the Samuel L. Jackson, which I say to my children all the time, is hold on to your butts. That is my time.
Well, Bern, that was an excellent first round, but I think you're going to see that I'm going to battle back pretty hard. All right, start the clock. While Star Trek is packed with thrilling moments, I could forget Spock's iconic line, live long and prosper. This classic Vulcan salute, imbued with a newfound emotional weight in this rebooted universe, perfectly captures the film's blend of nostalgia and fresh perspective. I mean, I stand by that. This Star Trek 2009 was one. I think J.J. Abrams had done some TV stuff. He had done Alias, which was really good. He had done Lost, which was really good, but he hadn't done like a big screen thing. This was his big foray into the big screen with a bunch of unknown guys. I mean, Chris Hemsworth played George Kirk in the opening scene, for Christ's sake. First movie, Chris Hemsworth plays George Kirk, right? Like, Chris Pine, unknown. Zachary Quinto had done The Heroes, but he was, somewhat unknown as well. You had a young Zoe Saldana. Carl Urban was in Lord of the Rings, so he was kind of known, but he was a secondary character in Lord of the Rings. Simon Pegg, he was more of a funny guy, but he played the role perfectly, And then he had Harold from Harold and Kumar up there fucking playing Sulu, Like, so the recasting of this was phenomenal. They did an incredible, like, the opening scene where George Kirk saves the ship was like, that's how you start a fucking movie. And then one of the best things he did when watching the remake, like the making of this, what he would do is when they're filming the ship being hit by like a bomb or a neutron bomb or a torpedo or whatever, he would smack the camera so it looks like the room is shaking, but no, nothing's shaking. You know what I mean? So he would time it where, okay, torpedo's supposed to hit, boom, hit the camera, looks like it shook the whole vessel. Everyone pretends to fall. Like, genius filmmaking, right? Genius filmmaking.
Very cool.
Really cool. And of course, no discussion of Star Trek would be complete without acknowledging Michael Giacchino's exhilarating score. Giacchino masterfully blends classic Star Trek themes with his own contemporary style, creating a soundtrack that is both similar and exciting. The music perfectly complements the film's epic scope and emotional depth, adding another layer of excitement and wonder to this thrilling space adventure. Let me tell you, this film was absolutely awesome, from the music to the effects to the CGI to the acting. Nailed it. I'll say this. This is what I can tell you about Star Trek. Is that coming up, hated Star Trek. I had an uncle that liked it. He was a douche, really put it off to me. I hated watching it, hated everything about it. I watched this movie, and I've been hooked ever since. That's what it does. It can convert you as a fan. It's not just like a good Star Trek movie. It's just a great movie in general. I mean, can't forget the score, too, where he's got Beastie Boys playing in the beginning. You know what I mean? Where, just awesome. Absolutely awesome. So that's my time. Drop some nuts on you. Booyah.
Yeah, that was good. You're right. It's a good representation of the series. It's modernized a little bit, but the core themes of Star Trek are still there. You can go back and watch the original show or the original films, and these characters are gonna feel familiar. They're very, very similar.
All right. Well, that was round one. So let's keep it moving to round two. Round two. Fight! All right, round two, awards and critical acclaim. We're going to go over the any awards for this show, and then we're going to talk about the best films of that year as well as the Academy Award winners of that year. So, Bern, I'll start off. Awards and critical acclaim. While Jurassic Park may have cleaned up at the Oscars, Star Trek wasn't far behind, earning significant critical acclaim and awards recognitions. Star Trek won one Academy Award for Best Makeup. It was praised for its visual effects, action sequences, and the cast's ability to capture the essence of the iconic characters. while Jurassic Park ended up winning 3 Academy Awards for its technical achievements. While groundbreaking for its time, some of its special effects haven't aged as well as Star Trek's more modern visuals. Star Trek proved that a reboot could not only honor its source material, but also stand on its own as a thrilling and engaging film. So I'll say this, right? Star Trek really did reboot the franchise, right? Like it wasn't like it was basically all TV. Like the movies really hadn't done much in a long time. Dude, it rebooted it. And then Wrath of Khan, the next one with Cumberbatch playing Khan. Oh my God. That was even better than the first one. The third one, not so much. The first two were absolutely fantastic, incredible films, you know? So it didn't do a ton at the for the awards, but I want to read off who did. So this was 2009, which is the 82nd Academy Awards, right? The movies that came out in 2009 were at the 82nd Academy Awards. This is what we got, and we've been over this before. But the award nominees for Best Picture that year were Up in the Air, then A Serious Man, then Precious, Inglorious Bastards, then the cartoon Up, then An Education, then District 9, then The Blind Side, then Avatar, and then the winner was Hurt Locker for Best Picture, right? And that really kind of set apart what's his face, Jeremy Renner. But I remember the whole storyline going into this year was because James Cameron's wife directed his ex-wife fucking directed Hurt Locker. Everyone's got to love their ex-wives all of a sudden. But yeah.
Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah, so she directed Hurt Locker, so she beat out Avatar, which at the time was the #1 grossing movie of all time, Avatar. And then also, dude, Inglorious Bastards was like really good, but I'd have to say as like the best movies of 2009, Star Trek is right up there. You know, it might not have got the award recognition, but it was definitely way up there as far as like it might have been the best movie of 2009 because it was better than The Blind Side, better than Hurt Locker. Taken was up there. The Hangover, Up, Inglorious Bastards, Law Abiding Citizen, Sunshine Cleaning, which was really good. Sherlock Holmes came out that year.
Okay.
Kill Shot, you know, Zombieland. Dude, great movie. Zombieland.
So good.
Great movie, great soundtrack. That was Zombieland was absolutely awesome. Crazy Heart, another really good one.
I was just saying, incredible Bill Murray cameo.
Oh,
incredible.
The best Bill Murray cameo. Dude, Woody Harrelson's reactions.
So good.
Oh, incredible. And then Invictus came out that year, didn't win anything. And that movie was like about, you know, beating apartheid. Public Enemies came out that year. Michael Mann, dude, that's another guy we got to put in the Director's Cup when we do Director's Cup, you know, NFC or whatever.
100%.
Yeah, Michael Mann's got to get in there. But dude, the Informers, Whip It was a good one. Drew Barrymore's first one. I Love You Man, which was okay. Funny People, which was Apatow. He's got to be in the Director's Cup as well. Then we got The Men Who Stare at Goats, you know, and it was just like The Informant, 500 Days of Summer, The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard, which was Neil Brennan directed it, but it was Jeremy Piven's first real big role, like that he got a starring role. You know, so X-Men Origins Wolverine. So there was a ton of really good movies that came out in 2009. Brothers Bloom, Fanboys, Drag Me to Hell, things like that. So
Brothers Bloom, underrated.
Oh, fantastic film. Fantastic. So really, really good. Dude, I really like the Brothers Bloom. You know, Mark Ruffalo, Adrian Brody, love Rachel Weisz.
Oh, so good in that.
Love Rachel Weisz. I mean, shoot, shout out to her. Married to fucking whatchamacallit? Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig, yeah.
Dude, I would pay to watch them bang. You know what I'm saying? Oh, right? I would pay.
Nothing wrong with that.
I would pay a lot to watch them smack uglies. That's some good looking people right there. But yeah, so that's what I got for the Academy Awards and Best Pictures of 2009. Star Trek, right up there with the best of them, if not the best one. Launching the careers of Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, you know, gave Chris Hemsworth his first big shot. Really put J.J. Abrams on the spectrum as one of America's best up and coming directors. So really big year. What do you got for you, Benoit Pahoud?
So Jurassic Park was came out in 1993. So we're talking about the 66th annual Academy Awards here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It won the awards it was nominated for. It won Best Sound, it won Best Sound Effects Editing, and it won Best Visual Effects.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like it did totally insane at the Oscars. The problem was that Steven Spielberg's other movie that year was absolutely wiping the slate clean, and that film is Schindler's List.
Oh,
So
damn,
here
he
are
had that in the same
same,
year?
same year. They both came out in 93. So your
What
best
a
picture
year.
your best picture nominees in the 66th Academy Awards are Schindler's List, The Fugitive, The Piano, In the Name of the Father, and Remains of the Day. Spielberg, best picture was Schindler's List. Best director, Spielberg, Schindler's List. Tom Hanks won Best Actor for Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
Holly Hunter won Best Actress in The Piano. Anna Paquin won Best Supporting in The Piano. Tommy Lee Jones won Best Supporting for The Fugitive. Here are your top films of 1993, and it really is an absolute slobber knocker.
I cannot believe Schindler's List and Jurassic Park in the same
Same
year.
year,
That's
which is
wild. Yeah.
and the advantage goes to me on this one because in 1993 you're still having a not that you didn't have a broad base of movies being made in 2009, but there were definitely more kinds of movies being made regularly in the 90s than there were in the late 2000s, early 2010s. We talk about going to the movies now, it's just superhero movies and horror movies, and that's pretty much it. So we were moving towards there, but here's a little taste of 1993. Okay, Schindler's List, The Fugitive, we've
Yeah.
mentioned. Dazed and Confused, Groundhog Day, Menace to Society, True Romance, In the Line of Fire, The Piano, Jurassic Park, Army of Darkness, Falling Down, The Nightmare Before Christmas, A Bronx Tale, What's
Oh,
Eating Gilbert Grape, Carlito's Way, Cool
oh,
Runnings, Grumpy Old Men, Rudy,
oh,
The Firm, Dave, Demolition Man, The Sandlot, Mrs.
oh,
Doubtfire,
oh,
Sleepless in Seattle,
oh,
The Program,
oh.
The Pelican Brief, and The Good Son. So you have a whole super wide range, and that's not even. I even threw some out like Adam's Family Values, which
Mhm.
cliffhanger, uh, Judgment Night, which is actually a really good movie that probably not a lot of people have seen. This Boy's Life was the Leo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro flick
Yeah.
that kind of launched Leo.
Yeah.
By the way, Leo had This Boy's Life and Gilbert Grape in the same year. So you see how some of these things come together. 1993 is an absolute slugfest when it
Oof.
comes to what a year to go to the movies.
Yeah.
Like every
Yeah.
weekend, there was some fantastic movie that you probably could have gone to see.
All right. That was the end of round two. Now we're going to head to round three, the wild card round. Round three, fight. So in the wild card round, we got a couple things going on. First, Bern and I are going to go blow for blow with some amazing fun facts and trivia about our movies. Then, after that, we're going to do a recasting, but we're going to switch it up. I will be recasting Bern's film Jurassic Park, and Bern will then be recasting my film Star Trek 2009. It's going to be incredible. Get ready. Bern, do you want to start off this fisticuffs of trivia, or would you like me
Yeah,
to?
no, I'll throw the opening
No, yeah,
salvo.
get a feeler out. Put a feeler out there, babe. You're gonna need it. I'm gonna walk through them nuggets all day, baby.
Walking through my nuggets. This is what I thought was cool. Nice little way to get us started. We don't have to go too crazy. T Rex sound, the roar, right? That iconic, gut shaking,
Mm.
spine tingling roar from the T Rex. Ton of different animal noises were combined and used for this. Dogs, tigers, elephants, alligators. But when the sound editor came down to said they used an alligator growl for the bass and baby elephant squeaks for the high notes. I just thought that was really, really cool. It's a combination of, they said a dog and a tiger, which is kind of weird. They're feral animals, they're mammals. But the fact that they were actually pulling sounds from like alligators and elephants and things that are kind of look like they could be descendant from some of the dinosaurs that are in this movie I thought was really, really cool. So an amalgamation of all different animal sounds to make that one horrifying T-Rex scream. I would not have guessed there were alligator growls in there, and I would have been wrong.
All right. Well, that was all right, Bern, but now I'm going to hit you with something real good. So let's talk about script security. The NSA level security on these scripts is incredible. So, Star Trek movies are often shrouded in secrecy, and none more than so when the reboot began production. Actors and actresses had a couple of strict rules to follow. First, no one was allowed to walk in public with their costumes on, even from set to set on the same movie lot. Second, actors and actresses were driven around the sets in golf carts that were covered in black canvases. Simon Pegg, he was a main character in the cast and he had most of the rules. So he read the full script with a security guard nearby. That was to protect the script from leaking in any way. Supporting actors were only given their scenes, and very few people had access to the film during production besides the director, producer, and writers. Funnily enough, two people were allowed to see the script in the movie before. And those two people, Tom Cruise and Ben Stiller. Neither of them had any roles or any parts in the film, but they were allowed to see everything beforehand. So there you go. Fun fact.
Here's an interesting little fact for you, Matt.
Okay.
There was a bidding war for the rights to Jurassic Park, eventually secured by Steven Spielberg for $1.5 million, with the agreement of another $500,000 for Michael Crichton, the writer of the novel, to be able to do some work on the script. That's not crazy, right? That happens all the time in Hollywood. Except in this case scenario, the script was sold, or the rights to the movie were sold 3 months before the book came out. That's right. The buzz on Michael Crichton's manuscript was so huge that studios were vying for the movie rights to this film to be made before the book was even published. So before Michael Crichton made $1 off of his novel Jurassic Park, he made $1.5 million selling the rights to the movie. That is absolutely unheard of.
You know, it's even crazier, Bern. CGI in a place you didn't think it would be. That's right. So for a movie with Star Trek's reboot scope, a certain level of CGI is expected for the ships and aliens, planets, at the very least. These days, many movies are inserting CGI actors into scenes. 2 actors in Star Trek had 1 body part animated. Nero is the vengeful Romulan who will stop at nothing to destroy Spock and everything he holds dear. At the same point in his life, extensive damage to his teeth occurred. Eric Bana had to have sections of his mouth CGI'd in some of the shots because of that damage. And then even Leonard Nimoy had to have his mouth animated, especially during the campfire scene. The fire created a hectic and bouncing light on the surroundings, which wreaked havoc on the voice syncing. So Nimoy had to re-record his lines, and an animator reshaped his mouth to match in post-production. So yeah, Eric Bana had gotten his teeth smashed or something, so they had to CGI his mouth. And then Leonard Nimoy, they couldn't hear it in the campfire scene, so he had to re-record it, and then they CGI'd his mouth to match with his talking. How cool is that?
Speaking of the book, in the original novel, Dr. Alan Grant's character doesn't exist. The protagonist is Dr. Ian Malcolm. Grant does not show up in the book. It was a brilliant move by Spielberg to introduce the character of a paleontologist, somebody who could kind of explain to the audience what was going on, since it's way tougher to do that in a movie than in a book. And there was also chatter from the studio of wanting to cut Jeff Goldblum's Ian Malcolm character completely because they thought 2 doctors might be too many. Luckily, Spielberg is a boss and was like, I'm going to add the Alan Grant character, and we're keeping Ian Malcolm as well. Trust me, guys, I'm going to figure this out. There was a bit of consternation from the studio about who was going to play Hammond, the old man. They offered the part to Sean Connery. He said, no, thanks. I'm going to go do Rising Sun, which was probably a bad call. They reached out to both Eastwood and Brando, who both declined to audition, before settling on the voice of planet Earth itself, Sir Richard Attenborough.
Here we go. I got something for you, a little Star Trek lore. So, in any type of Star Trek story for TV or film, you're guaranteed to have an alien species at some point. Most aliens in Star Trek require detailed makeup sessions lasting a long time. The actors who played the Romulans had to deal with makeup processes that took 2 to 4 hours. Nero's crew needed 3 prosthetics added to their ears and foreheads. The producers wanted the Romulans in the reboot to have small ridges. Nero, Eric Bana's character, needed a fourth prosthetic on his forehead, which was a bite wound he had received at a previous time. Also, all the actors who played a Romulan character had their heads shaved so they could be told apart from the Vulcans.
My last fun fact, and this is really a fun fact. We talked earlier about that iconic scene of the T-Rex in the rain stomping on the car, but there's a scene a little bit earlier than that when we're watching the cup of water, right, in the car.
Yeah.
We start to see the ripples. We start to hear the stomps. That scene was inspired by none other than Earth, Wind, and Fire. Spielberg was sitting in his car one day, jamming hard to Earth, Wind, and Fire when he noticed a similar effect on a glass of water and the fact that his windows were kind of vibrating due to the bass.
Wow.
He always kept that in mind. And as a practical effect, they made that water move like that by putting guitar strings underneath the dashboard and having a tech subtly strum the guitar string to create the vibration that moved up through the cup.
Oh,
But it was
dude.
all inspired by Spielberg jamming hard to Earth, Wind, and Fire in his car one day and noticing kind of what was going on around him, which I thought was really cool.
Well, how about this? The Star Trek reboot almost didn't happen, or could have been completely different if Leonard Nimoy declined to be in it. That's right. J.J. Abrams and the writers visited Nimoy's house. According to Orsi, one of the writers, Nimoy presented himself as indifferent to why they were there. They asked him to be in it. Orsi and Abrams told Nimoy he was very important to the reboot. If Nimoy didn't like the script or story, they would delay the movie or rewrite the script to Nimoy's approval. Nimoy told the LA Times, "This is the first and only time I had ever had a filmmaker say, we cannot make this film without you, and we won't make it without you." But after Nimoy read the script, he immediately jumped on board. So there you go. Also, did you know that William Shatner had a cameo in this? That's right. Even today, William Shatner has said he's open to reprising his role as Captain James T. Kirk in Star Trek. You've probably heard the stories about Shatner's ego and how upset he was that Nimoy was getting equal or more screen time in the original series. According to castmates like George Takei, it was all true. In the very early drafts of the reboot, Shatner was given a scene, pretty much a cameo. Abrams said that Shatner refused to have a cameo-only role in the movie. He wanted a major role like Leonard Nimoy, but since Kirk has passed away, in keeping with canon, Shatner suggested using the novels he wrote where Kirk is resurrected. Abrams made a smart decision to say no, since the movie would be about resurrecting Kirk and not about the reboot as planned. So there you go. Well, that was the trivia back and forth. I obviously smoked you on that one, but now it's time
I don't know
for
about that, bro.
everybody's new favorite part of the show. At least it's my favorite part. Bern, it's time to recast. Are you ready, Daddy?
I'm ready. Who's going first? Should I lead
Uh,
this off?
yeah, you can lead it off. I think I went first last time, so you can lead it off.
All right. I will be recasting 5 characters from J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek film. Uh, and also, they are original cast members from the original Star Trek. So you can figure that out however you want. The first thing I'm going to recast is how Matt pronounces the title of the movie. It is Star Trek with an E, not Star Trek. Trek, voyage, E. I figured I'd let you say it wrong the whole time just so I can hit you with it when we came to the
Oh, thanks,
recasting.
Daddy.
So I'm going to recast Matt's pronunciation of Star Trek into Star Trek since that's what the movies are called. Number 1, you love them, you hate them. You love to hate them. Captain James Tiberius Kirk. We're running into a bit of a conundrum here because in recasting Captain James Tiberius Kirk, obviously our main man, our head honcho, our heartthrob of the year, Glen Powell, could be a pretty exceptional fit. He's got
Oh,
that kind of down home Missouri badass.
yep.
He's got that glint in his eye. He's got that charm. But
Yeah.
I think with the only fair thing to do going forward, Matty, is if we're going to offer Glen Powell for a role, we have to offer an alternative because
Yeah.
otherwise it just gets kind of lazy. It's
I mean,
too
I would literally cast Glen Powell to play every role. I
he
literally
could
would.
he could
He
be in
could.
every movie we've done so far,
It's Glen
and
fucking Powell.
almost has been. It's his
Yeah.
world, baby. We're
It's
just
his
living
world,
in it.
baby. Amen.
So my alternate casting to Glen Powell would be Taron Egerton. I think
I
Taron
like it.
Egerton is just as sassy. I think we've
Yeah.
seen him play serious in action before. We've
Yeah.
seen him be fun. I think he's the right size too. Kirk is not a big hulking, and Glen Powell hits me as like a 6'3" type of dude. I've done no research; I don't know that for a fact. But Kirk was not a big hulking dude. He was a pretty. He was like he was like a Matty size guy, like a 5'10". You know what I mean? Just
5'11". I'm 5'11", Bern. Bern, I'm
like an
5'11".
average walking around dude. So I think
5'11".
maybe in that sweater, and so I think Taron Egerton would be my Glen Powell alternative to Captain Kirk. Uh, Bit of a swing here for Mr. Spock. Need somebody nerdy, need somebody serious, but need somebody with intensity. I'm going to go with Jonathan Groff. Right? Anybody with kids out there probably know him as the voice of Kristoff from the Frozen movies.
Okay.
But anybody who watches Netflix after their kids go to bed know him as the lead detective from Mindhunter, the
Ooh,
David
okay.
Fincher series. And I
Yeah.
believe he played one of the weird boys in the stands in the Gladiator 2 movie. One of the guys who was painted white and being all sassy.
Hmm.
But I think Groff can do a really, really good job of playing that kind of serious, straight man who still gives you some sense of a heart. I think he got to start in Hamilton, the original cast of Hamilton as well.
Uh-huh.
So he's super talented. I think he's going to be my Spock, Johnny Groff.
Man. All
Yeah.
right. Nice.
Next, we have to cast Scotty.
Okay.
Scotty, who starts off as a pretty funny character in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, and then becomes kind of like the main comic relief of the whole series as you
Yeah.
watch through the sequels. Needs to be a guy who is kind of like can be exasperated, but is still there to for the squad, for the whole team.
Yeah.
I'm going Nick Holt. I think
Ooh,
Nicholas Holt, really talented guy.
super talented. I'd love to
First,
see him with some comedy chops too.
I would too. He was in Warm Bodies, but he played the zombie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a
Yeah.
bit of a bit of a different role. But I think Nick Holt's going to be my Scotty. I think Donald Glover is going to be my Bones McCoy.
Oh, love Donnie G.
I
Love
want
Donnie
Donald
G.
Glover. I think he's got the right amount of
He's got chutzpah.
seriousness, frustration, chutzpah, but he's just oozing with charisma. He can say
Oh,
something terrible to you,
he's
and you'll be
Captain
like,
Charisma.
yeah, and you'll be like, I probably earned that. And then, due to my love of Donald Glover and the chemistry he has, I'm taking Zazie Beetz as
Oh,
O'Hara. Love them
love
together
Zazie
on
Beetz.
Atlanta. Love Zazie Beetz as Domino in the second Deadpool movie. I think she's smart, she's
Mm,
serious,
mm,
but she's really, really human in everything she does. So, quick recap:
yeah.
I'm going Glen Powell / Taron Egerton as my Captain Kirk. I'm going Jonathan Groff as Spock. I'm going Nick Holt as Scotty. I'm going Donald Glover as Bones McCoy, and I'm going Zazie Beetz as O'Hara.
Love it. Excellent recast, Bern. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Are you ready for me to smack some dick all over your face with my recasting, though?
I mean, do I have a choice?
You do not. So I'll be recasting Jurassic Park. I'll be recasting 5 characters. I'll be recasting Sam Neill's character, who played Dr. Alan Grant. I'll be recasting Jeff Goldblum's character, Ian Malcolm. I'll be recasting Laura Dern's character, Ellie Sattler. I'll be recasting Richard Attenborough's character, John Hammond. And I'll be recasting Samuel Jackson's character, Ray Arnold. So I want to start with the Bloom, the bloomiest of blooms, Jeff Goldblum. I'll be replacing Jeff Goldblum with someone. They got to be good looking because Goldblum was a Stone Cold Fox in this flick,
So
right?
handsome. So damn
Oh,
handsome.
so goddamn handsome. So they got to be good looking, but they also have to be clever and charming and sharp. So I'm going with Patrick Dempsey to replace Goldblum.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
good looking, witty, clever Patrick Dempsey replacing Jeff Goldblum, right?
Okay.
Then I'm gonna replace John Richard Attenborough's character, John Hammond. So they gotta be an older guy. They made Richard Hammond in the movie, he's kind of like a nice older guy, right? I didn't want to go
Yeah.
that way. I want to go with someone who's there and he knows like what we're about.
He's
Uh,
he's way he's way more of a prick in the novel.
yeah.
They made
So I'm
him
gonna
like a
go with the guy
really
that
happy
has
grandpa
yeah, I
in
didn't
the
want a
movie.
happy grandpa. I want someone to lead the vanguard, so to speak. I'm going to take the one only Lord Tywin himself, Charles Dance.
Chuck Dance. Nice. Nice.
Charles Dance is just an incredible actor.
Love Chuck
Absolutely
Dance.
incredible. Then replace Samuel L. Jackson's character. I'm going to go with one of my favorites. You brought up one of his best movies earlier when you talked about the program. To replace Samuel L. Jackson, I'm going with Omar Epps. I
Epps is
love
great.
seeing him. I miss him. I love seeing him. I love it. I just want more Omar Epps because he's awesome. He's a
I
figure
can't
from my
argue.
childhood, just a great actor, right? Juice. He's got the juice now, you know? And then, so I have two choices to replace Laura Dern's character, Ellie Sattler. My first choice popped up, Alice Eve. She's blonde. She's beautiful. She's British. She hits everything, babe. The three B's, blonde, beautiful, and British, you know?
And she was
So,
in the Star Trek franchise.
oh yeah, she was, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. She was in the second one.
God damn, and she looked fucking good doing
She
it.
looked great. Looked great.
She is so beautiful. Classic beautiful, right?
Yeah,
So I
striking.
thought she's a little older now as well because this is like an older cast too. Like these aren't young actors, you know? Like I did all
Sure.
40 plus for these, right? Like they're all late 30s, early 40s in the thing, you know?
Yeah.
So my second option for Laura Dern's character is one of your favorites and one of mine. Good old Allison Brie,
Oh, that's fun.
right?
I think that's fun. I think
Because she could be
Allison.
fun. Because she can play the nerd, but she's beautiful,
Yeah.
right? But she could be like the sporty nerd paleontologist wearing whatever, you know. So
And
I liked Allison Brie as well. Your
I
thoughts?
think I think they're two excellent choices. I think I would lean Allison Brie on that.
I because she can be more sporty, I think, right? And you
I
need like
totally agree.
I don't see Alice Eve getting her fingernails dirty in the dirt, where Allison Brie is fucking fist in a thing of Triceratops shit, you know?
Yeah, she's going through it. She's loving it. She's having a great
Yeah,
time. She can't believe
yeah,
it. She's so lucky.
can't
Yeah,
get
I
enough.
think Allison Brie's the call there.
And my final choice, the person I will have replace Sam Neill as Dr. Alan Grant, I chose Clive Owen.
Clive Owen is a great call. The ages work,
Yeah, yeah,
the seriousness with which he's going to approach, like because the whole time, Grant's excited to be there, but he knows like this is maybe a terrible idea, maybe. Whereas
mhm.
like Goldblum's character is like, oh no, this is a terrible idea. I only came because I want to see how bad of an idea this is. So Grant has that kind of like scientific fascination with it, but he's always the whole time is like, this might be terrible.
So that does it for the recasting, and that does it for round three. Bern, are you ready to go to the championship rounds?
Here's the big one. Here's the big matzo ball.
Okay, well, that was round three. It's time for round four. Round four, fight. We are in round four. This is the big money round, the championship round. In this round, we'll be consorting with the one and only Gemini, and they will give us the final verdict and tell us who is the winner of this epic clash of sci-fi titans. Are you ready?
I am on the edge of my seat, Matt.
So I reached out to our AI overlords and I said, hello, Gemini. Can you please tell us what movie you think is better, Jurassic Park or Star Trek 2009? They responded with thus. They said, this is like choosing between a T-Rex and a Klingon. Both Jurassic Park and Star Trek 2009 are exciting and engaging films in their own right. But AI will be giving the edge to Jurassic Park. And here's why. Groundbreaking impact. Jurassic Park was a game changer in the world of visual effects and cinematic storytelling. It brought dinosaurs to life in a way that had never been seen before, captivating audiences and inspiring a new generation of filmmakers. Star Trek 2009, while visually impressive, didn't have the same groundbreaking impact. I will say this. J.J. Abrams was probably influenced to become a filmmaker by Jurassic Park. Would we agree?
Yeah, I mean Spielberg. You can see a lot of Spielberg in what JJ does for sure.
Big time. Big time. Which and they're both great. But it's I agree. JJ knows like to get a big movie, you need a great score, you need a big start, you need a lot of impact. Like, like they know how to punch up a movie, both of them. But I really think JJ did get a lot of it from that's why we put them together because they're so close,
Yep,
And then
stylistically.
styles make fights. And then the timeless story. Jurassic Park taps into primal fears and a sense of wonder that transcends generations. The story of humans encountering dinosaurs in a modern setting is both thrilling and thought-provoking, raising questions about the ethics of science and the power of nature. And then enduring legacy. Jurassic Park continues to be celebrated and enjoyed by audiences of all ages. It has spawned sequels, merchandise, and even a theme park attraction, solidifying its place as a cultural touchstone. It then says, while Star Trek 2009 successfully rebooted a beloved franchise, Jurassic Park remains a landmark film that changed the way we experience cinema. Its groundbreaking special effects, compelling story, and enduring legacy make it a truly exceptional film. So hold on to your butts because Jurassic Park takes the win in this epic showdown. AI literally said, hold on to your butts.
Incredible. Gemini has been so good recently, like so good.
So great. Just so great. So can I tell you this, Bern? Something funny happened. I went to Google Glen Powell, as I always do, because we love him.
We love him.
And the first thing that came up, it says Glen Powell, Jurassic Park. You know this? You know about this?
I'm unaware.
So this story came out May 22nd of 2024. It's Glen Powell reveals why he turned down Jurassic World role after reading the script. So not only us will put Glen Powell in everything, but everybody will put Glen Powell in everything. So it just basically was
the Chris Pratt role?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He turned down Jurassic World. So I guess that was Chris Pratt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he turned down that role after reading the script because he just thought the script was dog shit. So that's basically what it says.
Little fun fact, I saw a trailer this morning, actually, before we recorded this, for a new Jurassic Park film starring Scarlett Johansson, ScarJo Jurassic Park, coming soon. I would imagine we're going to get a big trailer during the Super Bowl about that one. I'd imagine that one's going to be a Super Bowl trailer. So they're starting to leak out this week. The Fantastic Four teaser leaked out, the Jurassic Park. So they're starting to get ahead of these a little bit, but I would imagine we're going to see all these on Sunday during the big game.
There's a big game.
There's a big game, Matty.
So it looks like old Stevie Spielberg will be heading on to the next round. We don't know who he's facing yet in the semifinals. But we know so far Ridley Scott, Steven Spielberg have made it to the semifinals of the first ever Directors Cup. Man, what dude, this was a great episode, great showdown. Bern, give me your final thoughts before we hit the road, Jack.
I'm going to put it as succinctly and passionately as I can. Steven Spielberg deserves to be moving on to the second round with his body of work. Absolutely. After losing Jimmy Cameron last week, losing J.J. Abrams this week. I still think we came through with two great directors, Ridley Scott, Steven Spielberg. Life.
I would love to see a James Cameron, J.J. Abrams.
Maybe we can throw him in the losers bracket.
Yeah, maybe.
Life finds a way, man. Life finds a way.
I'll tell you, when going over Spielberg stuff to like pick, like J.J. Abrams has some stuff, but kind of limited, because he took so much time to do the Star Treks and to do Star Wars and all that stuff.
And his TV stuff is huge.
Yeah, he did a ton of really good, but he had a ton of really good TV. that he
Yeah.
did. Alias and Lost are absolutely phenomenal, but he didn't have a million things to choose from. Where there's like, I was looking and there were so many Spielbergs that I can be like, well, that would win, and that would win, and that would win, and that would win, and that would
Yeah.
win, and that would win, and that would, like Spielberg, he's so great, so great,
Watch out
so
for
happy.
Spielberg going forward, because he's got a real arsenal.
Yeah.
Real arsenal.
Yeah. He could definitely, he's going to take, he's doing, yeah, I could see him doing, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Depends who he gets in the second round. I hope, we'll see, because we still got,
Styles make fights, Matty. Styles make fights.
So we still got Wes Anderson versus the Coen brothers, and I spelled Coen wrong in the bracket. And then we have, and then we have Christopher Nolan versus David O. Russell, which is another one I cannot wait. So next week, I think we're going to do Wes Anderson versus the Coen brothers. And then we'll end the first round with David O. Russell versus Christopher Nolan. But either way, man, great second round, great second matchup in the first round of the Director's Cup. And really, really excited to keep this going. So for all those listening out there, in case you're wondering, this is the Working Perspectives podcast. And you can find all our stuff and all our content and all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. Hang out with us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast. Join us on Twitter and TikTok at Working P Pod. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, just please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe. We'll keep bringing you this incredible content. Thanks so much for listening, and have a good one. Thanks. See ya. And live long and prosper.